Here we go. Welcome to A Fine Time for Healing, a place where your physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being are all that matter. So put your feet up, relax, and enjoy today's show. Today we have with us Janine Lowe, and I'm going to tell you about Janine, and then I'll tell you about this interesting show that we have for you today. She has always been an intuitive, and it got her into a lot of trouble as a child. She was brought up in an environment that was more religious than spiritual, and this did not help. When her mom couldn't handle it anymore, she asked a priest to talk to Janine. She was so lucky he understood her, and he advised her that she had a gift. So she was happy because it confirmed that she didn't need to shut that part of her down. Today we're going to be talking about date, love, marry, avoid. And this is Chinese astrology. So for those of you who want to know how to find your special someone, Janine is going to give you some tips on who to date, who to love, who to marry, and who to avoid. Based on, yes, I know your ears are perking up. Who do I avoid? Based on this science of Chinese astrology. Welcome, Janine. It's so good to have you.
Hi, Randy. Yeah, lovely to be here. Happy to talk about my favorite subject.
It's a great one. It's a very interesting, exciting, and fun topic. How did you get into this?
Okay, so you read about me being intuitive, etc. And often you have, as an intuitive, you have to hide behind things. You can't go out there and go, I am an intuitive, because if we're talking, many years ago, I was quite young and it wasn't as in vogue as it is now. Yes. So now if you say you're intuitive, they go, oh yeah, I'm intuitive too. I'm an empath. Yeah. But when I was younger, it wasn't as easy to say that. So I started learning Feng Shui, which my next book is about Feng Shui, which is very easy to use. But Date, Love, Marry, Avoid came from years and years of reading people's what they call in Chinese astrology bazis, which is basically the date you're born in, from the year you're born in, which is your family and friends, for the month you're born in, which is your career, day is your relationships, and hour is your wealth. So I did lots and lots of interview readings, and I saw a pattern. And because of the pattern, it got me even more interested in it. So I started writing about all the different animals, all their pluses, minuses, career, what they should be in, what's lucky for them, like lucky days, lucky colors, all the ordinary stuff that you see that people do. But I saw if I say the word hole, I don't mean hole, I saw a gap where I could help people find the right person. So, and I'm a wedding celebrant, so marriage celebrant. So it interests me even more. So then I started putting together this book. So that was
so interesting. And how is Chinese astrology different than traditional astrology, horoscopes?
Okay, so the difference between Chinese astrology is Eastern astrology, and Western astrology is planets. Now, Eastern astrology, go back years and years, they used to have a Chinese astrologer attached to the kings or pharaohs, whatever you want to be, because they used to use them for war. So the Chinese astrologers used the stars to work out auspicious directions, auspicious dates, so that they would win the wars. That's how it happened. But I will tell you, Chinese astrology and Eastern astrology and West astrology, I have a number of friends who are in Western astrology, and there's a definite crossover. We can come to the same answer, just a different way. And whereas the Western astrology use things like Libra, Sagittarius, Scorpio, we use animals like rat, ox, tiger. So there's a definite going over. And the reason I chose Chinese astrology, when I met a very young someone called Joey Yap, who was from Kuala Lumpur. He's made massively famous now, and he just interested me in what he said. It just felt quite aligned to it, and because Chinese astrology is 1 and 1 makes 2, it made sense for me. Because I'm an intuitive, I can be intuitive, but then I can go in with the full facts. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, yeah, so the animals are interesting. And I'm a dog. The first time I realized I was a dog was in a Chinese restaurant on the placemat, where it
Yeah.
told me. So I've been a dog for a long time. Um, but to those of you who are listening, that really doesn't mean anything because it's not like I bark or I'm subservient or anything like that. But we have the rat, the ox, tiger, rabbit, dragon, snake, horse, goat, monkey, rooster, dog, and pig.
Yeah.
Well, the traits that are assigned to these animals through Chinese astrology are not what we would really expect to hear about these animals, right? So, can you go over kind of what these traits are and why they've assigned these animals to these traits?
Well, that's an interesting thing. So they used the stars. That's how they came up with the animal signs. But they are all elemental. So should we start with the very first one, which is the rat? So the element for the rat is water. You will never see a rat sitting in a corner not talking. Rats are like, yeah. So that's how you go from there. Now, people born under the month of the ox or the year of the ox, they, as you would expect, are really hardworking, and the characteristics come out like that. So an ox is an earth animal, as you'd expect it outside. So then we move on to the next animal, which is this how you want me to do it?
Sure, this is great. Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to just take over the show by just
No, go.
talking.
I'll stop you if you're taking over.
Okay, because I'm a
Okay.
reader and I never stop talking. And then you get the tiger, which element is wood. Now, tigers are, as you see, so they like to have fun. They like to go out and bring the food home, and they're very strong in a relationship. So as much as you can have fun with the tiger, they are quite, and the wrong word's controlling, but they like it their way first, just say. Rabbits, as you can imagine, again, the element for that is woods. Now, when you see rabbits together, they're always like having babies, they're never by themselves. So rabbits are very family orientated, and have lots of friends. So that they are a very gentle animal. Then we move on to the year of, so the dragon. Well, so we're going into the year of the dragon, 10th of February this year. And the dragon is, as it said, it commands your attention. It has sage. It's very good at giving you advice. It wants to be number one. So you can see that next year, that's going to be the word for 2024 with the dragon is change. Lots of change, lots of moving up, but we're not talking about that. So dragons are I love dragons, by the way. I find them, if they come into my world, I always learn something from them. Then we move on to the snake, and its element is fire. And snakes are, whenever you see them, like with the little guys doing the pipes and everything, and they do all this, they're very intuitive. So I always think snakes are super intuitive, and you never know what they're thinking, but they are thinking all the time. So then we move on to the horse, which is super sexy, passionate, holds the room together. Usually actors or actresses or someone famous will have a horse in their chart. Even podcasters, there'll be a horse somewhere in there because you're quite happy being in the forefront of everything. Then we go on to the animal, which is the goat, and I class that as it's a very gentle energy, and they're often people who are negotiators, so they're very good negotiating. Then we move on to the monkey element, metal. Now, monkeys are fun to be around. They are the ones that make us laugh, and they hold the room just by being funny. They often, though, can suffer from a little bit of depression because they're always the funny one, and no one really sees underneath that. So then we go to the rooster. That's me. And they love all the glittery stuff. Anything shiny, fast cars, anything like that. That's their thing, yeah. Then we go on to the dogs. Now, it's an interesting thing with dogs. You just said you're a dog. And for you to be in this industry is unusual. So it will be related to probably the month you're born in. So dogs are, I always laugh about this, and you'll read my book, they're very good at spreadsheets. So they like to be organized, they're hardworking, they will work longer hours than they need to because they just want to get it right. Okay, so that's a dog. That's the tiny bit about dogs. And then we come across the pig. Now, pigs are the water element. So they're really good in IT. They make good podcasters as well. And the thing about pigs is they're really kind. They're very kind animals to be around. So what I did was I worked out all the animals and I've said which animals get on really well with each other. And then I gave them dates to go on in the book.
So it's really interesting because so I'm married to a tiger. My tiger is into spreadsheets. Okay. He's got a spreadsheet for everything. I am completely free spirited. I don't like anything that's that regimented and rigid. So why would that be? Why would I?
Okay, so this is the answer to it, right? So when you're born, as I said, you have 4 different animals. Sometimes you double up. Now, when I talk about spreadsheets, you are, I think we talked about it, a monkey in your career. So the month you're born in is a monkey month, yeah. So what happens there is you take on the elements, the characteristics of the monkey in your career, okay? So you like to go out and be fun, all this. You'll keep it all together. Everyone will just want to watch you. You have this attraction and everything. But behind, sometimes when you're working, you would like someone to go, "Are you okay?" So what you've got going on with your husband is there are clashes, which the word avoid came into. Rather than use clash, date, love, marry, clash, I did avoid. And your husband's a tiger. And what month is he born in?
December 9th.
All right, so he's a rat,
Oh,
okay.
he's a rat. Okay.
In his career.
Okay.
And that's probably where you do get on, because rats and monkeys do get on that. But you do have a clash because monkeys and tigers clash. So he would like to be like your career. He might have ideas about it that you would have been so strong you were going to go your own way anyway. But he wants to, I'm not saying he's controlling because we all have different things, but he wants to have very much his own way. You're never going to let him do that, by the way, just so you know.
Well, I really don't have a choice. I
Don't
really
tell me
don't
he's the producer on this.
I really don't have a choice. It's what has worked for us for 35 years. So I've learned to let him have his way. He's very organized. He sees things very black and white. And I am all over the place. So we've really had to adjust to each other because we're so different in those ways, but yet very compatible. So so that's interesting.
But also the day you're born on, say the day you're actually born on as well, is all about your relationship with your partner or your relationship with yourself, which we're not doing. So having a proper reading, we'll bring that out. The book here is to give you the general idea of the characteristics of every animal. That's it. I mean, I had a client the other day. For 2 years she's been on these dating apps, hasn't met anybody, maybe gone on the odd date, and so she found out which animal she should go out with. This is just came out December the 8th, this particular book in the UK. And she's been on 5 dates with this guy, which is unheard of. She has to text me and just say, "Janine, it works like this." And I go, "Yeah, it does work."
That's great.
So yeah, that's how that works. But yeah, it's it's far from tongue in cheek, but it's there to get you out there, help you see what other people. I mean, people over Christmas took it to their families and they were just seeing if they got on with their sister or their brothers or their friends, that sort of thing. So yeah, there's a fun element behind it for sure.
It's a lot of fun. So okay, so in addition to the year that you're born, and how is there a certain amount of years between, like, so is it every 7 years, so when the
Yeah.
years, so for the years, let me just say it this way. So for Let's see.
So there's 12 years, yeah, but there's
Okay,
12
so it's
animals,
12
12
years
years.
in between. Okay, right.
So the other thing is there's 5 elements, which is fire, earth. Everybody knows fire, earth, metal, wood, water.
Okay, so I
So
see.
you,
So like for the dog, it's 1922, 1934, which is 12 years, 1946, which is 12 years. So it's every 12 years. Okay,
that
gotcha.
will have an element, and then when you become 60, you go back to the very first element. So you get, in Chinese astrology, you get reborn again. So when
Really?
you hit 60, so when a dog was, certain age and it hit it, then you're 60, then it's like you start your life again. That's how the Chinese think of it. So, so you can, like you could, so I was born in 19, and I'm a, and I'm a fire rooster, but the rooster before me was a wood rooster. So you go through that, and then you have 60 cycles. So there's 60 cycles. It all
So if
restarts
my
them.
element is earth,
Yeah.
when I turn 60, that's really the first one anyway, though, isn't it? So,
So well, it would be for you, because an earth dog was what you were born under. So in how many 6 years time, an earth dog was born, and it's really fun because my partner is an earth dog, and then my dog I got in 2018, so that's an earth dog. So I live with 2 earth dogs. Which is
dog.
nice, because I mean, what I like about this particular dog that you are is you don't really want the world to upset. You want everything to be calm. As long as you're happy, everyone's happy. That's not your mission in life, but that makes your life so much easier. You're not like someone that's out there like me, a fire rooster. I wrote one book, got it picked up by a traditional publisher. I thought, oh, I'll write another one within a year, and they picked that up, and now I'm like, oh, I've done that now. So now what do I do?
Wow.
So I've got one book coming out, and the other one's just in production now.
Good for you.
I know, but the thing is that you say that's good, but when you're a fire rooster, you don't know how to. The difference between you and I is you don't know how to just be sometimes. Do you know what I
Okay.
mean?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
So
I've written several books, but I have to wait. I have to pace myself. I've got to have a couple years in between each to sort of regroup and do it before I'm ready to do it again. So I see that. That
yeah.
would stress me out terribly. I could never do that.
But I had a book coach. Well, because I just needed to make sure that I did it. I had somebody who was like, right, you have to get that. You have to do this. You have to, for the first book, you have to do this. And she taught me so much about it, and how, and I didn't realize it was such a big thing to be able to be traditionally published, how you get picked up that way.
Huge.
Yeah, I didn't know. And so now I'm very proud of myself, if I'm allowed to say that, because I just couldn't believe that they picked up 2 books within a year, just like that.
That's truly amazing. I mean, I've never been traditionally published. So that is a huge honor.
Yeah.
Really, really very, very good.
You do have to wait, when you're desperate to get it out there, you have to wait probably a year before you get it. But the company that publishers have taken me on, they've been amazing, so I'm lucky. Very lucky.
Truly, truly. Okay, so there's 4 aspects to the person.
Yes.
Okay, so explain what those 4 aspects are.
Okay, so when you're born, your date of birth is the 1st of January. We do
September
February.
4th. Mhm.
Yeah, we do 1st of February, 1982, born at 11 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. So all of those depict different animals. Sometimes they duplicate, as in that you might be born in the rooster hour or you're born in the rooster year. But each one of those animals, the first animal that you're born with is a year, and that is all about your friends and family. So when I'm being so I was interviewed, you came to me for a reading, right? And you told me your year. I've just told you a little bit about your personality. Okay. So what happens is you surround yourself with people, and those people you surround yourself with, I sort of need their dates of birth, because you know, I was on a show the other day and this woman came on, Dawn from Denver or something, and she said, oh, you know, I don't get on with my mum. And we found out it's because she clashed with her mum because of the Chinese animals.
Mhm.
So knowing how you get with people around you is really important. And sometimes we don't get on with people, but we don't understand them. So by understanding their actual makeup, it's really good to
Mm.
know that. So from a reading, we know what we are. So then we do your career, which we know you're a monkey. And that's the month you're born in. And it doesn't mean it's January. It's, you know, like 1st to 31st. It's sometimes the 4th of January to the 7th of February. It's just the way the stars align. And that tells me a lot about what sort of thing you're doing in your career. So when I work with big companies to help them make money, which is taken away from Date, Love, Marry, Avoid, but as a Feng Shui consultant and Chinese astrologer, I get brought in by large companies to make them money. And I also they have a product coming out. And my job is to make sure that it gets out on an auspicious day for the company to make a lot of money. Now, I was only saying to someone the other day, Apple, I can predict what date they're going to actually put their products out.
Hmm.
And they always choose mainly the first, you know, the first version of 15, say, in September. They always choose a September because September is all about Rooster. It's about flashiness. It's about loving to own things, yeah. And I believe that they've got their own Chinese astrologer. I swear they have, because the way they act, that and how successful they are and everything, that's it. So my job as a Chinese astrologer working for big companies is to make the money and make sure their product's the right color and aligns. Then we have to make sure their offices are right and make sure that their staff are right, which again, we go back to the animals. But going back to the normal circle, I can tell you whether or not your career will blossom this year, what month you should ask for a pay rise, or if you should be self-employed. The day you're born is very important because it explains how you get on with yourself. That's a hard one, isn't it? So when you read the animals, you'll know what sort of person you are and how you get on with yourself, because people say, oh, I don't know what you mean. I said, well, you talk to yourself all the time. And they go, no, I don't. I go, well, you just did. You just did. You just ask yourself then.
Right.
So it's quite important to have what's going on in your day stem, and it's also your relationship with your partner. And often when people have come to me, like they want to have a baby. I know this sounds really weird. So I have to predict today that they can, and then they will have a baby. And I'm very successful at making babies for people who haven't had babies.
Really?
So you can work it out from the day. And then the hour, which is super important, is all about the wealth. So that's how you work out how to make money, which is really weird because I give you all the wealth days that you can use. And if you don't sit there and get lucky, you know, I have a manifest book, but you'll hear me during in my abundance book that's coming out. But manifesting is great, but you have to actually do the work. A lot of people think you just wish it. No. And that's the same with Date, Love, Marry, Avoid. You need to get out there. You need to go out there and see who's out there, who's compatible. This woman proved it to me that it's workable. And I'm surprised they haven't got it on all the dating apps. Well, they will do by the time I finish, but yeah.
Yeah, that's true. So my expertise is in personality disorders. And so most of the people that come to me have dealt with personality disorders, whether it's in their family or they're dating or they're married to somebody with personality disorder. And so I meant to turn this off. Hold on a minute. Everything's falling apart here. Okay. Okay, so that would be that would be sort of another element to these people, because the reason I say that is because a lot of people go on dating apps and they meet emotional predators. There's a lot of them out there. Okay, so how does this fit into that?
Right, okay. So some people are born with what I class as naughty bases, yeah. So their chart, the day they're born on, the month they're born on, etc., clashes. So you could have, like, this means nothing to you, but there's a clash of a dragon and a dog, yeah. There's a clash of a rooster and a rabbit. If they have all four of those in their chart, which I've known people to do, you can have this. So you can actually see, or you can see that someone's animal is in the wrong area. And, talking about predators in dating, I know certain animals and certain, if they've got other things in there, there. And my best advice with dating is date for at least 5 times before you take them anywhere near where you live. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Meet them somewhere, get to know them, really know them. It's this very scary world out there, I think.
It
What
is.
do you?
It is a very scary world out there, and this is really a positive for people who are listening and going, I'm terrified to date because I've had such bad experiences. So if you're dating someone, you really want to sort of get the whole picture of who they are in Chinese astrology, all four
Yeah.
elements,
Yeah.
to figure out who you're with. Okay.
I think you can, obviously people aren't going to be able to work at their 4 elements from the book, all that sort of thing. But I go very deep into each characteristic of the people, and it's not always the positive. I'm a very realistic person. And if I say a dog and a dragon shouldn't go out, I genuinely mean that, because it just never going to work. It may work for the physical attraction to start with, but when you start putting the characteristics together, and when you check out the avoids, like horses and rats shouldn't be together, rabbits and roosters shouldn't be together, goats and oxes, you'll see that there's generally one of the animals is more dominant over the other one. And I believe equality in that sort of thing. So I've taken that on board when I've written this from well, I'd say from a female point of view, but that's not actually true. I wrote it as each animal for whoever needs to do it. But a lot of people that have picked the book up or come to me or said anything goes, oh my goodness, I can't believe you got that so right. But I have genuinely studied this, because these have been my clients. I've done it. So how do you deal when you have someone with just for my interest, a disorder? What happens?
Oh, so many things happen. So basically, mainly I deal with narcissistic personality disorder abuse. So people who have been abused this way are generally very kind, easygoing, loving, trusting. The narcissist is a chameleon, they're an actor, they're a fraud. They present themselves as somebody that they're not, but what they do is they match to the personality initially, so that these kind, gentle people feel like they've met the perfect person for them, but it's an act. The point is to take that person completely off center so that they can then begin to mold them and treat them like a puppet, sort of take over the way that they think. And they do this through emotionally abusive behavior, to beat the person down to the point where they no longer know who they are. And they're taught basically to distrust their intuition and to just begin to listen to the programming. And over time, it takes away their self-esteem. They don't know who they are. It breaks people, completely breaks them down. So, and there's a lot of this going on. It's a very predatory world. There's a lot of these out there. And so what I find is that these dating sites are full of these people because they're looking for nice, kind people that they can do this to.
Do they know they're doing it? Are they
Yes.
doing it on purpose?
Yes. They know exactly what they're doing. Yes. It's not, it's a mental disorder, but it's not a mental illness. And whereas somebody with psychopathy would be not aware of what they're doing. Narcissists are hyper aware of what they're doing. Their choices are very deliberate and they're all conscious.
Mm.
So yeah, so I mean, this is the world that I'm in. So it's very interesting for me to hear that there's actually a way to predict that these people are going to be like that. And this happens in families, and not every child exposed to a parent, an abusive parent, will become a narcissist. It is a temperament, basically, that causes that child to develop into this. So that, to me, when I think of temperament, I'm thinking of these factors, because we don't know which child is actually this is going to happen to. But now I'm beginning to understand that the temperament is made up of some very specific things.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, and I have done some charts like you're saying, that someone's come to me and gone, my boyfriend's like this, you know, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, okay. And I look at it and I go, yeah, now leave. This is never because the chart will never work. Her chart, his chart will not work. And then she goes into the history, and it seems that. And also the one thing that maybe it's just a circle that I've been in, and the clients obviously have to pay me, so they are a certain amount of money, but they seem targeted for their money, I've found, or the fact they own their own house, or the fact they've got this or that. With the abusive, in my case, men, I haven't come across, well, actually I have come across abuse with women to women. But it is it's a hard, when they're constantly, will I get on with them? No, you won't.
And you say it very clearly.
It's not going to work. It's just not going to work. And I do Feng people as well. And, I also do people's charts who don't ask me to do them. So I can just see, like, you practice on things. I'm like, no, that's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
But I think, there is give and take. Like you said, 35 years, nothing's perfect. You've got to find the pluses and what they are and work with those. And I think the book gives you the pluses. It gives you why it works, why it wouldn't work. But yeah, it's a hard world out there for dating, that's for sure. I mean, really difficult. But also, I think I haven't said this, but I used to be a DJ and run nightclubs, and I used to watch people meet, and everyone got on for the first 3 months, and then the curtains come down. So it always used to interest me. They sort of do that. I think the thing is, you've got to realize people often put their best stuff out first, don't they?
I tell my clients, you check out, don't take anybody at their word. Everything has to be proven, everything has to pan out. And what people who have narcissistic personality disorder, what their gift is to fast talk you into not believing what you're seeing, but believing what you're told. So, and generally, because they choose very trusting, loving people who look for potential, who look for, benefit of the doubt, those kind of people, they're very easy to manipulate them into buying their lies. So it's tough. But and you mentioned the dog and the dragon, which is really interesting, because I was going to ask you. So I have it in my family. My mother is a dragon, and yes. Oh, right. Oh God, my mother's a dragon and I'm a dog. Didn't work.
No. No, not at all. And in fairness, it's not necessarily the dog's fault in your case. The dragon is very overpowering, very controlling. It's a bit like I'm explaining the year ahead of us. Yeah, having a dragon for a mother, you might be one of 4 and you'll be the only one that won't see them, but you'll be the one that knows it was never your fault. Never. Like the woman rat's fault. Yeah, it's shocking. It's because you didn't listen enough to her. You didn't do what she said. It's like pure war. And it's a shame when you see other mothers, because I actually have a mother who's a clash to me. She only died in September at 93, and all my life, even in the last moments of her, she was a clash to me. And the last moments, I was the only one there looking after her because
Mhm.
that's the sort of person I am. And but now, and please take this the best way, I've never felt more freer. I have.
I don't take it the wrong way. And people who are listening completely understand that, because there's actually a meme that I have that I send people sometimes, and it says the only cure for narcissism, and it's a gravestone. It's a headstone. So, this is well known in this area that sometimes that's really the only way out. My mother's 95. Um,
Yeah.
and she's just not.
And people are like, I know, and people are like, oh, must be having a really bad Christmas.
No,
No, I'm
like
not that
free at
Christmas.
last, free at last. Right. So no, I can absolutely joke about that and appreciate it. And believe me, there's a lot of listeners out there that are laughing because they can realize.
And the thing is, I didn't know so much about. I know I've heard about relationship with narcissism, but not mother and daughter or mother and son narcissism.
Mhm.
And it's not until like you're talking to, being very out there, talking to the funeral directors and the person that's going to hold the service. Could you give us some, nice things for your childhood? And you're sitting there going, oh dear. Luckily, my brother and I were together. We both just laughed our way through it. But yeah, it was quite. But both of us are like, it just feels
It's really
so
difficult.
much better for it. But I had the most amazing father. Does
That's
that make sense?
wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. My father was sort of her puppet, so it's all one and the same. But yeah, I won't go to the funeral for that very reason, because I can't be fake. If they ask me to say something, I just couldn't, so I just won't go. Um,
Yeah, well, the difference was my dad, who was the most loveliest man in the world, asked me to look after my mum when he on literally his deathbed,
Okay.
literally. And so I took it on that I would be there. And she said to me, like, Dad, when you made sure you had the good drugs, can you make sure I have the good drugs? And I was like, oh, okay, then here's more. But yeah, so you have friends like that as well, Randy.
Hmm.
You have people that like come into your life, women who use you the same way.
Yes.
It doesn't always have to be a partner, and I'm not talking about the book, but you can use the book to see that. You can see who your friends are around you and if they're the right ones. I think that's quite an important thing, to surround yourself with the right people.
Absolutely. Hmm.
Life's tough enough without having anyone not at your back,
That's so true. And most people who are, especially if you grow up with a parent like this, it sets you up for a life of choosing poor friends, poor employment situations, poor relationships. I mean, it sort of follows you until you wake up and you say, this is a theme in my life, and I need to wake up and change this, because this. And generally, when you recognize it in one area of your life, you begin to recognize it in all areas of your life, and it becomes, you generally have to sort of clear out all the cobwebs and start over, because you realize you've just got nothing but, you know, users and predatory people around you, and then you have to start over. So
And I think as a child or in a relationship, I sort of understand what you're now saying, that unbeknownst to you, they grow to know what you are. And you tend to be a watcher more than anything, don't you?
Mhm.
I am a huge animal lover, and I find animals homes and all this sort of thing. And I only had a cat growing up I didn't have toys, I had a cat. And if I upset her, she'd take the cat away. So it's just weird, isn't it? But this is about the good stuff. The good stuff
Right, the
is,
good stuff.
yeah, that there are kind people out there. You just have
Mhm.
to make sure you find them. You have to find them.
Clearly,
That's for
clearly.
sure.
So what are some fun things that we can talk about, so that people will relate to in their own situation? So maybe who's compatible and
Okay, so
what to look for.
compatible. Okay. If we're just doing it by the year only, which is what the book's about, horses and tigers, first date, they might end up in bed because they're super passionate together. They just
Mm,
love being together. Um, If you want to date someone romantic, I think possibly I would go for a rat. Rats are quite romantic. So the trio there are rats, monkeys, and dragons. They all get on well together. Um, the fun animals are definitely horses, monkeys, roosters. They're like the fun ones. If you're someone who's quite a gentle person and you're looking for a gentle person to come into your life, I would look for a goat. Um, they are the really, with rabbits, they are the really nice. They want to change the world gently. Whereas a dragon will go, right, let's get this done. Yeah. So that's the sort of thing. I actually have a pig for a son. And he's one of the kindest people that I know. He can't tolerate people very well for very long. They all annoy him, but you wouldn't know that because he's so polite. And he actually married someone well, the year before last, and they are a perfect match. That's really nice. Not that I had the book out then, but yeah, they were really nice. So I think personality, if you want a lot of people to talk to, if you like to talk a lot, like music, then go for rats. If you like to be walking around in the fields, getting wellies, dirty, I don't know if you have pubs over there, then go out with an ox. If you like to party, tigers tend to party, but they also like their home. So tigers can party, but they're there. Rabbits, again, family, love a big good barbecue with the world together. Dragons we've touched on. Snakes. Now, if you want an intelligent conversation, find a snake. If you're into anything alternative, a snake is the person for you. Absolutely. And a horse is really good for you if you want to travel. If you like to travel, horses and dogs like to travel. Do you like to travel?
No.
Okay, because that's your monkey. Horses. I'm going to find your taste in Friday.
Right. I mean,
Horses,
I don't adapt to new environments, so travel is very difficult for me.
why don't you? You know, that would be from something a bit deeper, I should think. But yeah. Monkeys, I've talked about, they like to have fun. They'll also like to listen to music, that sort of thing. Could be TV people as well. Make great parents, just so you know. Roosters, they love they love anything flashy. So shopping, wine bars, that sort of thing. Dogs we've touched on. So what do you like to do then, Randy? What's your favorite thing to do as a dog?
I like harmony, peace, quiet. I'm very rich inside. I don't need a lot of external stuff. There's a lot of stuff in me that fulfills me. So it never depends on my environment, ever.
It's funny because my partner, he's a dog and he is a stamp collector. Losing for hours. A
Oh,
puzzle.
yeah. I
Losing
mean,
for hours.
I have a lot of collections. I do. And so, but everything is very, it's all about me, it's nobody would really understand my collections. Like I have frogs all over my house. Frogs is not a Chinese animal, and I don't know why, but there's something about a frog that just really makes me feel good.
Oh, how lovely. Let's get that out.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah.
Oh, he's a collector as well. Like someone will give him a picture or find somewhere in the wall to put it on. But not in my house because I'm a Rooster. We have two separate houses because I have to have all my walls clear. Everything has to be grey, and I have clocks on them and mirrors. That's it. But you're going to his house, it's like going to Aladdin's den. So that's dogs, and pigs they're very much into techie, IT, supernatural, all that sort of thing. So there's always really, really good stuff out there about everyone. But as I say, it's all broken down in the book so people can see. Now I'm worried you're going to be reading that. Everyone can read it and see exactly what they're, because it's also, we never know who we truly are, do we? We think we know who we are, but we don't. So it's quite nice to know your pluses, like, should you be an accountant? Should you be a solicitor?
Oh yes, definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
so
A
those
lot
are
of the
really,
people that I work with especially those who have suffered childhood emotional abuse, most of them are highly empathic, and which means that they're very, they're very sensitive. They're very energetically very sensitive, which causes them to have a very difficult time being around other people. So, and that's part of my situation too. I'm highly empathic. I'm super energetically sensitive. So I'm safer in my own realm.
So you and I are the same there. Because someone said to me, oh, an intuitive isn't intuitive, it's just learned to read the room from a very young age. And I was like, oh, okay. And I am like, I live with animals. That sounds bad. I have 5 rescue cats at the moment. And as they come in, I find them homes. But I find living with animals and dog and everything is much better for me, more calming, that sort of thing. And I will be, because of what you've just said, I will knit a mouse for a charity. So I really get about what you're saying about that. And it does, as you say, it does formulate who you are. But even so, dogs are definitely like what you say in there. They do like their own time.
As when I was younger, I was very social, always very social. It's just happened as I've gotten older that, that I've just sort of, instead of requiring, external stimulation, I have it all inside. I do that. I'm able to do that now as I've gotten older. So my husband, he's a homebody, and I think we talked about he's would you say 62 December.
He's a tiger rat.
Okay,
so
tiger rat, right? So
and
he's a homebody, but he loves places like Disney, and he loves carnivals, and he loves circuses.
Absolutely tiger. But the rat, he could be quite political, might have very strong views, that sort of thing.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. So as I say, it is an interesting thing. But he's rat tiger is actually, if you look at the rat tiger, you can see personality when you put them together in the book. Even though it's one person, you can see how they get on. Goodness me.
Right. So is the sign, the animal of the year that you're born on, is that the most predominant characteristic of who you are?
I would say I've put it in there anyway. I would say the predominant is the year and the month, and I've also put the animals for the month in the book, so you can see what year you are, what month. You can't see what day you are, but you can see what hour you are.
Okay.
So you can work out what your animals are. You just can't work out what your day animal is, and that is hard to write down. That's all in software, or I literally have to go back, but now there's software to do it. So you can have, the book has described all the animals, all the hours, all the times, etc. It's all in there. It's a case of you going, oh yes, I'm a rat in this year, so that's my character, or I'm a monkey in my career, so I go and look up monkey for my career. What should I be doing? And then hour is your wealth. So that explains wealth and that sort of thing. So it's pretty comprehensive, but it is well.
And so when I can't, I have a hard time getting past the thought of a rat being sociable and having that be a positive thing, or a snake being intuitive and having that be a positive thing, because you think of the animal as you interpret that, how they affect the world around you. So are these characteristics actually aspects of these animals, or just in terms of Chinese astrology?
Oh, they're the aspects of the animals.
Okay.
Absolutely the aspects of the animals. And the reason I talk about dogs and spreadsheets is because my partner is definitely in spreadsheets. It was an easy option, but I didn't want to go stamp. I think I have put stamp collecting in there, but yeah, no, it is true of the animal is the character and the personality of the person. It's not, if you are born under that, you will pick up some, not all, but some of those characteristics, as in with all the other animals in there. It will definitely show up. I
mean, I don't do spreadsheets, but I'm very organized. If I get into something new, I have a binder with everything I'll need to know about that particular topic in that binder. So I am very organized.
Yeah, very organized.
Yeah.
Is that, whereas me with the Rooster, you know, you'll find I am like, my kitchen has to be absolutely cleared. I can't have anything on. I think I've got a kettle, a toaster, and a coffee machine.
That's it.
That's it. That's it. My car's grey. My house is grey inside. I'm wearing black. You know, it's in some ways it's a bit OCD. But if all that's right, and yeah, I've got 5 cats. If all that's right, then I'm happy.
Okay.
You wouldn't see me in a red car. I just couldn't drive a red
It
car.
wouldn't happen.
And that's it. Whereas you get a horse who will wear orange, yellow. Do you know what I mean? You pick up the characteristics of that particular element with fire, whereas I'm metal. So yeah, that's how that works.
You're metal. Okay. Right. Just looking at some of these. Okay. So what is, so obviously the message to everybody is to check out this book, because you're going to get a lot of information about who you are, which is very relevant. And but so Janine, so you actually see people one-on-one for readings, right?
Yeah. I do a lot of readings, especially at this time of the year, because it's building up to Chinese New Year. Everyone wants to know what's going ahead, what happens, because each year, this isn't to do with Date Love Marry Avoid, each year the chi changes, the energy changes. We're going to dragon year, so we get this, the animal as we know it becomes the year. So the personality of the person of the animal becomes the year. Yeah. So I work out exactly what to expect for the year, what they should do, what month they should do it in. Is this a good month for wealth? I have a lot of women entrepreneurs who work with me trying to expand their business. So that's what I do as a reading. And I have people that come back every year for their readings. But I also have like retainer clients who I work with all year. So yeah, busy girl. How did I write those 2 books? I think I didn't have any time off, actually.
Right. And cats are great because they don't require a whole lot of your attention. So they're
No,
there, but right, they're not needy.
they do. I'm doing them the favor when I speak to them, really, or they're doing me the favor. But the rescue cats, just to know that I rescued a really it's so random. This was thrown out in the street. Beautiful little cat, and I took him in to find him a home, because everyone had been talking about him for 3 months, and it got to New Year's Eve, and I found out the fish and chip shop had closed and they'd been feeding him. So I took him in, and I found out what year he was born in. This is the point of the conversation. And I had 2 other rescues that I'd actually kept, cat and 2 other kittens I'd kept, who were now a year old, and we were about the same age as him. And I was going to have him snipped so he couldn't give any more babies, and then find him a home. Remember, he's feral. He met the other 2 cats that are the same as him, tigers, yeah, and they're like a pack. If you ever wanted a pack of cats, you know, they are the hooligans. They all go out together, they come in, they sleep with each other, everything.
So
When
all
I
5
found
of your cats are like a pack?
three of them,
3 of
2 are
them are
very
like a pack.
so that the one that I took in matched up with the same year that the other 2 were born in, so it became a tiger. So because they all went like this, I ended up keeping it. Whereas normally I'll go, oh, I know someone who'd like you, you know, and all this. But because he was this same animal as these 2, I now have 3
Right.
1-year-olds, 18-month
Why
old.
not, right? Why not? Why not? Right. So the year of the dragon, that sounds a little bit scary, considering that we're all hoping for more peace and calm in this world. It doesn't sound like we're going to get it this year.
No, I don't think so. I genuinely don't think so. I think everything's going to be at a fairly fast speed. Obviously, different animals will have different aspects that they look forward to. I think the dog has got a bit of a hard ride, sorry to say that out loud, because it's a dragon year. I think there's massive change. I think but in the positive side, we'll learn a lot about what we want. We'll learn, you know, career-wise, there can be real push forwards, the health industry. I don't know if you have a building industry over there. they're going to move fast quite quickly. There is romance though, funnily enough. I was thinking, oh, that's the book's coming out at the right time, because there is a definite turn of romance, but there is also a turn for affairs as well. So you have to be sort of careful there. So if you're in a
Mm.
relationship, listen to my words, pay attention to your partner, otherwise things may change. So the dragon brings, that's the superpower of the dragon, is change. I
Okay.
could go deep,
Now,
but
do we start to see the transition? I mean, it's not like one stops and the other starts, or is
no,
it?
it
Okay.
starts, so Chinese New Year this year is February the 10th, but it will have started around December 21st, moving forward with the solstice.
Mm.
It usually happens on the first lunar moon, in that things start to change. By the second lunar moon, then we're way in, we're right into it. So we will be seeing the change now. And I think when I'm around people at the moment, they are very unrestful. Not unrestful, what do I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They're not calm, they're all feeling quite
Mm-hmm.
agitated. They don't want to go back to work, but they don't know what's wrong with them. But this change is a different. If when you went into the rabbit year, which was last year, the change was much more gentle, much more yin. Everyone was getting ready for the year, whereas this year everyone's feeling a bit edgy about it. But there are good aspects to it. Please do know that. It's
Mm-hmm.
just at the moment, if you're feeling a little bit off kilter during January, I don't know when you'll be watching this, January, then you'll know that this will start to calm down. It is fine.
Okay.
Things will start to move forward in March, April, in a more positive way. You'll feel like spring has sprung and you'll be out there. But this time, I think people this year really want to hibernate. I don't know if you feel that. The people are all going to me, what's wrong, Janine? Everything seems a bit weird. And I'm like,
There's a lot of aggression, a lot more aggression with people now.
mm,
This has been going on for the last few months, and it just seems like it's gone rogue,
yes.
where there's where people used to be able to corral that with themselves. Now, so many people are not able to do that, and there's a lot of outward aggression.
Well, the day of the change of the 10th of February is the same chi as 1914 and 1939. And both of those are world wars. Now, no one said there's gonna be a war, but there's that sort of underlying feeling of that was. But what you do have to think is there was a lot of communities came together, people became more I'm going to use the word affiliated, but it's the wrong word, but they came closer together. So people who are your circle become closest to you, I believe. And people who aren't who they should be to you will move away. And I
Mm.
think you'll just see it. It's like the curtain's been drawn. So I think that's what's happening. We're getting aware of things more. And I know our world is so much more close. We can see each other because of the fact of, TV and all this sort of
And
thing.
internet.
Yeah, I
Internet.
think that's it. So yeah, I think that things will be a lot more aware. I also think that people who are famous, like famous actors, famous that will be bigger as well. So people like Tom Cruise, all these famous people will bring out new movies, all this sort of thing.
Oh, really?
It's going to be about the influencers, the famous people. I know we've been going into that sort of culture for a while, but they will be more of the lead people than politicians, shall we say.
That's
Will look.
that's to me that sounds kind of annoying.
Yeah, I agree, but I think that the generation that's below us, yeah,
Mhm. Mhm.
that don't see um the lead forward. I
Mhm.
mean, we lost our queen last year. We've got a new king. Um, I don't think they've always had the queen around, yeah. And I think now they've got a new king, they've got to align to that. And I think the youngsters are not, they're aligning to TikTok, they're aligning to this sort of thing.
Mm.
Um,
Interesting.
which is good and bad, but yeah, we're getting way off. But so the dragon is going to change our views on things.
Okay. All right. Well, that's really it's good to know that. It's good to watch out because
Yeah.
it helps to have some sort of explanation, some sort of way to ability to reason through some things, you know, and say, okay, so what is the following year after the dragon?
It's the snake year, wood snake. So that basically is 2025. I think that changes January 29th, 2025. And we get people who are intuitive, who are empaths, who are that are going to be like the heightened ones. They are the ones to watch. They come into their own. So all the alternative stuff comes into its own 2025 in a big, big way.
Really? That's exciting.
Yeah.
That's very exciting. So we just got to get through this year, and then another, right? Then the intuitive aspect of who we are is going to rise up more, which is beautiful. That's beautiful. I look forward to it.
And it's like what we've learned, we now know. Do you see what I'm saying? What we're going through this year is, we knew that, and now that's okay. That's the change we wanted.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, this is so interesting. Okay, everybody. So, Janine's book, Date, Love, Marry, Avoid. And how do we, if we want to work with you, Janine, how do we do that?
So www.Janine Lowe, which is with an E, .co.uk or .com. You'll find me. That's my website. And Date, Love, Marry, Avoid is in all your fabulous. I know it's on Amazon.com, but I don't know all the names. Noble and something, and
Barnes and Noble.
So that it's on there. You know, so you can order it on the internet. You can download it today on your what's that called?
Kindle. Right.
Yeah.
You have an electronic version. Okay, very, very cool. It's so great to meet you. This was fun. I knew it would be fun, but yeah, this is really, really fun, enjoyable. I'm sure everybody's enjoying this. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So have a wonderful day. Janine's in the UK. So they're having weather right now. I think the whole East Coast of the United States is having weather right now. So we're all relating to that. Okay, well have a wonderful day and take care. Bye-bye.